Oh, hey. The reason why I was breathing like that is because I feel like I have to sneeze and it's really starting to frustrate me. But hello and welcome. My name is Allison Rozelle. I'm also known as Coach Roz. I am the founder of the Starting Over at 40 movement. I'm also the creator and host of the Starting Over at 40 podcast. And and I am also the founder and head mistress of the Starting Over Academy. Woo! Makes me so excited to say that. So excited to say that. And I just, my heart is full. Hello, Tab. How are you, girl? So, let's jump in and talk here. So, first of all, we are still, at least I am, I don't know about you, but reveling in this full moon and spring equinox energy that is pulsating through the atmosphere. I mean, this is like no other. Because at the time of this recording, this past Wednesday, it was full moon. It was a super moon. It was the full moon in Libra. Libra, which is what my mommy is, a Libra. And it was also the beginning of spring equinox. So the atmosphere is really charged right now, and it kind of gives you the feeling of a new moon atmosphere more so than full moon. But nevertheless, it feels good. So I have been just reveling in it. It's been so much going on with me. March is really going to just is going out with a bang for me. So I speak that to be the same case for you. But wow is all I can say. So, speaking of the full moon, on Wednesday, I was so blessed to be a part of my friend Neith Sankofa, her ceremony, full moon ceremony. And it was beautiful. It was magical. It was wonderful. It was spiritual. I mean, it was like Holy Spirit was just there and just stayed there the whole time. It was just so beautiful and powerful. Neith is a dance. She's a dancer, but her gift to the world is healing through movement. And it's so wonderful to see her work and do her thing because she doesn't have to utter a word. She just moves her body. And in that flow, you feel every movement within you. And it was just beautiful. And she's launching her healing theater. And I love that. I love that name. It just pulsates through my body when I say it because it's so good. And it's just, I'm so happy for her. So we had a beautiful full moon ceremony where we did releasing, a burning ceremony where you wrote down what you're releasing and you throw it into the fire. And yeah, just like that, it was powerful. There were some beautiful breakthroughs. We sang, we danced, we shouted, we did all that. And it was wonderful. It was so wonderful. And there was so much love in the atmosphere. Even the photographer she hired had his own moment there. And it was so wonderful. It was so wonderful. And he was so like in awe of the whole thing. And for that to happen, for someone to come in who's basically a stranger to all of us, but at the same time, he comes in and he's moved and he's touched and he is able to be a part of this beautiful thing. So Deep bow to my sis. Deep bow to my sis. It was just beautiful. It was just beautiful. So, on that note, Tabitha, can you give me a number between 1 and 13? We're going to pull a card, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a couple of things, how I want to address this. So as you can see by the title, we're going to learn from a peace lily. And the reason we're going to learn from a peace lily, wow, that's powerful. She picks the number 12, and I was thinking about the number 12. So, so we're going to learn from a peace lily, and we're also going to talk about the significance of why I'm talking about that. And so let's pull Tabitha's card, which is the card for all of us, because if it's true for one, it's true for all. So let me take a deep breath. Let's just all just sit with our intention as we pull the card. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay. We'll pull from the top. Oh, I was thinking about this word actually yesterday. So this is the Mother Mary card. I love getting the Mother Mary card. I love getting the Mother Mary card because it's all about miracles. It's all about miracles, and it's a conception card. And today I am reborn. I am willing to believe in miracles. Today I am reborn. I'm willing to believe in miracles. And I'm going to tell you why I was laughing. This beautiful card. Thank you, Tabitha, for giving us that number that gives us this beautiful, beautiful card. So we're going to learn from a peace lily. So if you know anything about me, you know I love flowers. I'm the flower child. I love basically any and all flowers. There are a few that I don't particularly care for because they don't really speak to me, but the rest of them, I love them. But peace lily is not actually a flower, even though it has a bloom. It's a house plant. But it gets the lily part because of the bloom that does come up, the bulb. But I love peace lilies, and I never really understood why I love them so much until I started to evolve a lot more spiritually. And then as I read more and more, because since I love flowers so much, I read about them and I learn the meanings, you know, for all of the flowers and some of the plants and everything. So peace lily, usually people give you those at time of death, honestly. You know, I got one when my grandfather passed away. And honestly, I don't remember what happened to that plant because I loved it. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, what happened to my plant? So I love a peace lily. I think they're beautiful. I think because there are different kinds of them, you know, there's the smaller ones, and I won't go all into the technical names for them and everything else, but I love them. And I love, you know, not just the flower part, but the greenery and everything else about a peace lily. So, of course, a peace lily is about peace, but it's about calm, balance, and rebirth. Yes, the peace lily is all about rebirth. And right now, in the midst of this energy that we're still in with the full moon, with the spring equinox, all of that culminating together to bring about the energy of rebirth. And that's a word for me that has been kind of going really strongly with me for the past few days, after um, with the full moon and everything is rebirth. And so today, because sometimes I really don't know what I'm going to talk about on my lives, on my starting over sessions. Sometimes I really don't know. But then as I start thinking about it, meditating on it, things will start to come to me. And as I was thinking about rebirth, peace lily popped in my head. So I started Googling all about the peace lily to learn a lot more. I knew it was peace. I knew it was calmness and balance, but I didn't know anything about the part of rebirth and some of the other factors about the peace lily. So one thing about the peace lily, it is for peace, but in that peace, people gave it as a peace offering to have a truce. So if you received a peace lily, not just during the times when somebody dies, but if, let's say, you, like me and Tabitha, if we're fighting, if we've been feuding or whatever, or our families have been feuding, then we want to call a truce. We would bring a peace lily to say, okay, let's have a truce. So when I think about the word truce, and I think about at this moment in time in your starting over journey, I think it's about time that you call a truce between you and you. Because a lot of us have been fighting within ourselves for a while. And we've been dwelling on the guilt of our shoulda, coulda, woulda, how we do. We play that ticker tape over and over and over again. Well, if I had done it this way, it would have turned out like this. Or if I had done this, then it would have done that. And why didn't I do it this way? Could have done it that way. Yada, 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 yada. We beat ourselves up about the shoulda, coulda, woulda. But in this energy, I invite you to call a truce within you, to stop fighting with yourself, to stop fighting with your true self, because what you're doing is, it's not so much that you're fighting too much on the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. It's more of you're fighting with the fact that you're being called to go higher, but you're too scared to go. So you've been fighting and putting up walls and putting up blocks and saying, I'm not going to do it because I should have done it this way, 10 years ago. And if I would have done it this way 10 years ago, I would have been further along and I wouldn't have all this looming over my head. I would have been in a different direction. You may have been in a different direction, but it wouldn't have been your direction. It wouldn't have been your path. It wouldn't have been where you're supposed to go. So now I invite you to learn from the peace lily and call a truce within yourself. So that way you're not feuding anymore and you can have a peaceful environment to give birth, to have rebirth in peace. Call a truce within yourself. Stop having that internal fight. Take your comfort zone self is fighting with your true self. Your true self keeps saying, listen, I want to come out. I'm tired of you keeping me in. I want to come out. And then comfort zone is like, but no, this is what we're supposed to be doing. This is what everybody does. Everybody graduates high school, goes to college, gets a degree that they don't ever use, and then they go and get a job that has absolutely nothing to do with their degree. Everybody does that. So we're not going to rock the boat. No. Everybody does what go in this way and in this direction. If everyone is wearing this particular kind of clothing, that's the way we're supposed to go, because we got to fit in. We got to make sure we're not drawing too much attention to ourselves, because remember, we were taught as children, stop being so loud, stop bringing so much attention to yourself. Don't, do things where you get noticed too much, And our well-meaning people who raised us, and that can include parents, that can include grandparents, that can just include just your neighborhood that you grew up in, your church that you grew up in, whomever, whatever, at some point you were told to dim your light, stop shining so brightly, be seen and not heard. And meanwhile, the other part of you is like, but I like being seen. But I need to be heard because I gotta live my truth. So now it's time to make truce, to make peace. Get in that peaceful environment so you can give birth. Call a truce. Lessons from a peace lily. The next part, the peace lily is an air purifier. Yeah, a peace lily cleans your air, like removes major toxins in your air. So while we're in this new energy, even though it's not new moon, it's full moon, it feels like a new moon. And while we're trying to give birth, let's be in that nesting period where we start cleaning everything. Let's clear the air. And it's not necessarily to get rid of things so much, but clear the air, clear your energy, raise your vibration, do things that make you happy and put you in a better position to be able to give birth and appreciate what you gave birth to. Yeah. So it's time to clear the air. You know, even with the whole truce part, clear the air between you and say, okay, let's call a truce. Let's clear the air. Let's hash it out. And then we're done. So I'm going to get this sage, or I'm going to get this incense, and we're going to smudge and we're going to clear. Or I'm going to make this list of stuff that we're going to release right here and now, and we're going to go somewhere safely and burn it. But we're going to clear the air. We're going to purify our environment. We're going to take water and take, you know, the power within from Iyanla Vanzant. I love that book, by the way. She talks about how you can take water and just like with your hand and purify the corners in your room of your house. Go to corners and just throw clean water and clear the air. Clear the air. Oh my gosh. Clear the air with praise and worship. Yes. Fill the air. Clear the air with praise and worship. Honor God. Honor yourself with praise and worship. Turn on some happy music and just dance and clear the air and move about and get all of the chakras nice and open, because as you move your hips, you're opening your sacral chakra. And as you flow this way, your heart is beaming out. And as you sing songs and rejoice, your throat chakra is opening up, and it's beautiful and magical and wonderful. And just raise your arms and move around and clear the air. Learn from a peace lily. Learn from a peace lily to clear the air. Call a truce. Clear the air to get yourself in position to give birth. So this next part has nothing to do with peace lily, but it has everything to do with the energy that we're in right now. And I shared this with my group, and I said, I want to share this as well with you. If you have an altar or sacred space in your house, and by the way, thank you for the hearts. I did see them, and I meant to acknowledge. Thank you. But if you have a sacred space or an altar in your home, I have a sacred space. It's not very big. Doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be. But I would invite you to put some things there that represent the new season of rebirth. Put some nice spring items there. Do some beautiful, like have some fresh flowers. Or some flower petals. Or you can do You could get some pretty crystals like citrine, amethyst. Ooh, rose quartz. Rose quartz. If you're inviting love, yeah. If you're inviting love in your life, and that citrine is bright and yellow and it reminds you of the sun, and it's a reminder for you to always shine brightly and don't dim your light. And the reason you're not going to do that is because you're going to call a truce. You're going to clear the air. And then the amethyst, it has healing energies in it as well. So find things that speak to you to add to your sacred space. And this is a space that hopefully you see every day. Another thing you can do, because of the birthing and because of the or rebirth, whichever, an egg. Now, you don't have to put a real egg. I'm not telling you to go in your refrigerator and put an egg in the middle of your house and, whatever happens, happens. I'm not telling you to do that. Now, if you want to, that's on you. I'm not judging. But what you can do is you can find an egg-shaped crystal that's shaped like an egg, or you can find some other thing like those beautiful, and I forget what those things are called because they have an actual name, but you know what I'm saying, those little eggs, and they have the little pedestals, and they're beautiful, and they usually have things on them, or they just might be clear or whatever. But I think you know what I'm talking about. My mind won't let me think of what the word is, but nevertheless, you can have one of those if you have one. You can also go get, and you can find these at like the dollar store. Go get a bag of the plastic Easter eggs. Yeah, go get those. And then like get some like little pieces of paper and write your intentions on it and put it inside the egg. And you put those on your altar, on your sacred space, and you pray over them. Those are your intentions. Those are the things that you want to make manifest. So you put them on your altar and you leave them there. And you leave them there for as long as it feels necessary for them to be there. I'll say that. I won't give you a time period or anything like that, because sometimes what I'll do is I'll pull a card. Like I'll ask, okay, what do I need to focus on at this moment? And I'll pull a card, and whatever that card is, I put it on my sacred space, and it'll stay there for as long as it is necessary for it to be there. I'll light my prayer candle, and it will be there. Now, if you don't have a prayer candles are very inexpensive. I always recommend white. You go get your prayer candle. You can find them at any store. They're located where the candles are, or like some stores have like where they have like their incense and all that kind of stuff in one section. You can find them there. They're usually like $1 and some change. But when you get them home, I want you to clean them with warm water, warm salt water, and that cleans the energy of someone else's touch off of that, because you don't want anybody else's stuff permeating in your house. So you want to clean that, so that way all the channels are clear and everything is clear, and you have the right tone, the right energy to clear the air just for you in times of prayer. So yes, that is what we want to do. That is what we want to talk about. Now, the reason why this is so important to me, talking about the peace lily, is because I am in the process of creating my own affirmation cards. And since I love flowers so much, that is a part of them. And they are going to be my flower power affirmation cards. So that is why this is so important. I've been getting a lot of information as far as doing my self-love sermons or starting over sessions or whatever we want to call them. I still don't have a name for this. I just don't know. I'm torn still. Nevertheless, But I've got some topics, and they are related to flowers and how you can learn from flowers. We're in this spring, energy now, this spring season. So, yeah, we're going to talk about flowers and the benefits and the spiritual aspects of flowers. Yeah, they all have them, believe me. So, stay tuned for that. Also, stay tuned to this page right here and also on my Instagram page, because I have been sitting and thinking about what I want to really offer to you all. I do have my course. I thought I was going to launch it this weekend. Didn't happen that way. But I'm not mad about it, because the way I see it is, I said this is my year of flow. And so if it doesn't flow and if it doesn't feel in the flow, I don't do it. I do it when it feels in the flow. But it does feel in the flow for that to happen this week, especially since the date is coming. Okay, so Tabitha said, I commented and never hit enter. Girl, I can't tell you how many times I've done that. She says, my true self is knocking at my heart and soul. Yes. Yes. Our true selves are like, really, that's why this rebirth energy is so important. Our true, authentic selves are like, okay, we are fencing to be very Diana Ross-ish. I'm coming out. And if you don't want me to come out, then I won't come out. But I really need to, because the world is waiting for us. And I've said this multiple times, and I'll always say it. No, everybody's not supposed to be an entrepreneur. No, not everybody is supposed to be, a singer, a dancer, a rapper, whatever. But you are supposed to be whatever you were created to be. And that's why I'm here. Because at some point in our lives, we were told that we couldn't do it. And it wasn't always because somebody didn't think that we should or could. I don't really know why. But at some point we were told that. I've told this before. It's like when I got pregnant, I was told, well, now your life is on hold and it's all about your child. And if I had really, really thought about it, and if I had really, really been able to just stand in my truth and in my power, I would have said, my life is not over. It's just beginning. And my child is about to be a part of my journey. My child is about to be a part of my journey. He's not a hindrance. He's not a dream stopper. He's a part of it. And he gets to live this dream with me. That's what I wish I could have said. But I didn't have it back then. I was 20 years old. But I gave into the whole thing of, when you have children, your life is over. You have to put everything on hold for them. But as I think now in my 40s, how does that benefit them? If mama or daddy is not living their best life, is not living their authentic truth, and not doing what they were called to do and not striving for it, what is that to show your children? What are we really teaching them if we're not doing it? So I have a real problem with the fact that I was told this. I forgive them for telling me, because they didn't know that they didn't know. And they were well-meaning in what they were doing, where they were protecting me. And I know this, and I understand that. And I appreciate it. But at the same time, if I could have thought of it in another way, I would have take that conversation to somebody else, because I don't want to hear it. But anyway, so that's why the starting over movement is what it is. Because now at this point, we can't go back to the people that told us that we couldn't do it, shouldn't do it, or, who won't listen to you or anything like that. Can't go back to that. What we can do is start right now. And in this season, right now, in the midst of all this beautiful rebirth energy, now is the perfect time to do you in your starting over journey. And Tabitha says, I want to be free. Yes, I want to be free. Yes. And that's what it's about. I want to be free, and I want to help you be free. I want to liberate you, get you out of your rut, get you like, okay, I wake up every morning with praise on my lips and gratitude and thanks that I get to do what I want to do each and every day. Even if I'm clocking in at a job, it's the job that I always wanted. Or if I'm going to school, I'm learning what I always wanted to learn. If it's the opening a business, starting a business, it's the business that I always dreamed of having. Or that I know I may not have even dreamed of it. Sometimes God will give you a direction that you never dreamed of, but it feels right. It feels good. It's very much in alignment with you, and it speaks to everything that you know and everything that you're good at, all the experience that you've accumulated over these years. Yeah. Now's the time. Now is the time. So, I want you to have a wonderful day. I also want you to share this with someone. If you're watching the replay, drop me a comment. Let me know what you think, because I want to hear from you. If you're watching it on YouTube, same thing. Drop me a comment. I'd love to see what you have to say and see how you feel about being a peace lily. How you relate to the peace lily. Because I just was very fascinated by all of that I was learning about the peace lily. So now I love it even more. And that's why I started laughing with this card, because this is dead on of what we were going to talk about. So it's a beautiful thing, and I can't wait until I have my own cards. I'll still be pulling these because I love them, but yeah. So that's all I got. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you, and I love you so, so, so much. And I want you to have a wonderful day or night or morning whenever you're watching this. Bye for now.